Good day, everyone. Our subject today is MAPE, and one of the components of the MAPE that we are going to discuss today is music. We are now here in quarter 3, week 1. The objectives that we are going to learn today are the following. Identifies simple musical forms of songs from the community. Binary. AB has two contrasting sections. AB. Ternary. ABA has 3 sections. The third section, similar to the first, ABC, has 3 sections. Uses the different repeat marks that are related to form. The capo, DC dal segno, DS alpine up to the end. DC alpine, repeat from the beginning until the word fine, and describes the instrumental sections of the Western Orchestra. So now let us proceed to our lesson for today. So let us begin first. Who are musical composers? A composer writes music. This music may be a song to sing or a song to play with an instrument. We call music he or she writes a musical composition. So the one who writes a music is what we call the composer, and the one which the music composer is writing is what we call the musical composition. Composers make musical forms which express their feelings or ideas. This form or structure of the composition is based on the number and similarity of the phrase in the music. Today, composers write many kinds of music. They write music without words. They write music to play and sing. They write music for one person to sing alone or for many persons to sing together. Form in music is the way a musical composition is arranged. This composition could be either any musical piece as sung by vocalists or singers, or music created by means of musical instruments. The shortest unit of music is the motif. It may be in the form of a rhythm or melody that can be heard. A musical phrase is a musical line or musical idea that expresses a musical thought. Musical ideas may be in repetition, contrast, or variation. So as you can see here in the picture, this is what we call a musical phrase, in which it has a musical line and a musical idea that expresses a musical thought. Here are the different musical forms. A piece of music divided into 2 main sections has a binary form. It is also called AB form or 2-part form. The song Paro-Parong Bukid is an example of binary form. Sing the song and identify the 2 main sections, the A section and the B section. Notice that these sections are contrasting sections. A piece of music with 3 sections is called ternary form. It is also called ABA form or ABC or 3-part form. A statement, B contrast, A return. An example of the song in ternary form is the song Lupang Hinirang. Can you tell the form of the song? We live in a very interesting world, an alive, complex, and colorful one with lots of shapes and sound all around. Picture a colorless or a single-colored world. Would you stay and be happy in such a place? Would you be creative given that kind of surrounding? So as you can see in the picture, class, that this can be shown as the form of the song. And the form of the song could be colorless or in a single-colored world. Okay, so it depends on you on how to make the form of the song, if it is a happy or it is created by the given that kind of surrounding. And how about the rondo? Rondo refers to music with 5 parts. So we have A, B, A, C, and A. Rondo could be an extended ternary form since the part A comes after B and again after C, part of a song. It is made up by 5 or more musical parts with some repetitions. The following example shows the rondo form. So we have here as A as the circle, B triangle, A circle, C rectangle, and A goes back again in the circle. This is an example of showing rondo form. Okay, so let us identify what kind of symbol is this. So this is what we call refers to dal segno. Dal segno, which means to repeat from the start until the sign. And this symbol refers to coda, or to continue singing or playing from to the coda where the symbol appears again. There is also fine, which means the end of the song. DC al coda, it means to go back to the beginning and jump or proceed on the coda sign. DC al fine means to go back to the beginning and end at fine. DS al fine, it means go to the back of the sign and end at fine. Always remember the signs to be acquainted with the rondo format of the song. What are repeated sections? In a musical composition, there are some symbols that indicate the repetitions of some sections. Below are the examples of repeat marks. So we have here the marking and the meaning. So in marking, we call this as segno, which means sign, and then coda, which means coda sign. DC al fine, closing parentheses. DC means the capo, fine means end. So the meaning of the DC al fine is it means to go back at the beginning and end at fine. And the marking DC al coda, which means to go back to the beginning and jump or proceed on the sign. DC al fine, closing parentheses. DS means dal segno, fine means end. Okay, and it means to go back at the sign and end at fine. So that's what we call the repeated sections that you can see in a musical composition. An orchestra is a large group of musicians who play together on varied instruments. It contains sections of string, brass, woodwind, and percussion instruments. So as you can see in the picture, class, this is an example of an orchestra, in which an orchestra, it is a large group of musicians who play together on varied instruments or different kinds of musical instruments. The instrumental sections of the Western orchestra. Number 1. Stringed instruments are played by using a bow or by plucking the strings. They are often referred to as the strength of character of the orchestra. The first one is the violin. Violin is the smallest but with the highest pitch string instrument. More often, it plays the melody. It is tucked under the chin when played. A bow is used to produce the sound. Letter B is what we call the viola. It's slightly larger than the violin and tuned a fifth lower than the viola. Cello. Cello is the tenor of the string group. It has a warm, rich sound. It rests on the floor. The player places the cello in between the knees. Double bass is the biggest and has the lowest pitch in the string family. It is almost 6 feet in length. It produces a low, dark sound. Harp. Harp is made up of 47 strings. It has a wide range of pitches and can produce both very low and high sounds. It is played by plucking the strings. Next, number 2 is what we call the woodwind instruments. Woodwind instruments are played by blowing air into their mouthpiece. Mouthpiece is part of the wind instruments, which is placed in the mouth of the musician. The first one is clarinet. Clarinet has only one reed. It can only produce a wide range of low to high notes with versatile sound. Saxophone. Saxophone is a woodwind instrument but made of brass played with a single reed mouthpiece. Its sound is in the middle of the woodwind and brass sections. Oboe uses a double reed to produce sound. The distinct tone quality is associated with pastoral melodies. Its tone is nasal and sad. Basson. Basson is the biggest and has the lowest pitch in the woodwind family. It can produce a comic and unique sound. That is why musicians call it as the clown of the orchestra. Flute. Flute has a high range with full and bright tones. Piccolo is the smallest woodwind instrument. Next is number 3 are the brass instruments. Have cup-shaped mouthpiece. Tone is produced by blowing through the mouthpiece with tightly stretched lips. Trumpet is the smallest and has the highest pitch in the brass family. French horn has a long length of tubing coiled into a circular shape with flares into a bell at the end. It produces a mellow sound and is played by blowing air into its funnel-shaped mouthpiece. Tuba is the biggest and the lowest pitch in the brass family. Sound is produced by vibrating lips into its cup-shaped mouthpiece. Trombone is the only instrument with a sliding mechanism that shifts pitch in any key. Next, number 4 is the percussion instruments. Percussion instruments are used to emphasize the rhythms add excitement to the climatic passages, and provide a variety of special effects. Most of the instruments are struck by hands with sticks or with mallets or hammers. Others are shaken or rubbed. First one is timpani. Timpani is usually played in pairs, and its sound is produced by striking its drum head with a mallet. It is often called kettle drum because of its shape. Bass drum is the biggest and has the lowest pitch in the percussion family. Its low and deep sound is produced by striking its head with a stick or mallet. Snare drum provides a rattling sound in a composition because of the metal wires attached diagonally at its bottom head. Cymbals. Cymbals are pairs of round plate-like instruments clashed together or played by striking them with a beater. Xylophone or marimba is a percussion instrument consisting of a graduated series of wooden bars, usually sounded by striking with a small wooden hammer or mallet. So now let us proceed to the activities that you are going to answer to your self-learning module. And here is the activity 1. Fill in the blanks with the correct answer. Listen to the following songs and identify musical form as binary or it is ternary. So in activity 1, 1 to 3, it could be found in the lesson that we had earlier. You can look the answer to this to that topic that we had today. Next is the activity 3. Letter A, direction, write true if the statement is correct. If it is false, change the underlined word to make the statement true. Okay, so 1 to 5. So if the statement is correct, you're going to write the word true. But if it is false, you're going to change the underlined word to make the statement correct or true. Next, activity 4. Match the description of instruments in column A and their names in column B. Okay, so this is the definition and this is the names of the different kinds of musical instruments. You're going to find the definition of each instrument. While in number 2, describe the characteristic sound quality of which the following instrument in the orchestra. So trumpet, French horn, tuba, and cello, and double bass. Okay. Alright, thank you so much for your listening. I hope to see you guys again in my next video. God bless us all.